Tell me how you fell into running. I feel like that's probably the biggest thing that I'm keen to like flesh out today, dude.
Oh man, I mean, it came out of nowhere. It hit me like a ton of bricks. So going back to like when I was off of social media, like I was just I was an asshole if I'm being so honest. Like I was in a really deep, dark place. So I was working like an overnight gig. So I was sleeping during the day, which was not healthy. I was golfing, like, so I would finish my gig at 8 a.m. I'd go and I'd golf 36 holes a day. I would drink like 30 beers, smoke half a pack of cigs. And then I'd come home at 4 p.m., pass out, go to work at midnight.
And that was just the norm?
And that was just the norm, 5 days a week. So like, that was every single day, and I gained a ton of weight. I got up to like 310. My girlfriend hated me. Can't blame her even slightly. But at the same time, she starts training for this marathon, and I'm like so mean to her. And I've apologized like for years about this, but I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, no human should run a marathon. You're going to die. Even a couple months earlier, she was living in London at the time, so she ran the Kew Gardens half. I flew to London because I thought she was gonna die running a half marathon.
Wow, dude.
I was like, I just want to be here, you know, if dying happens.
Yeah, it's funny, like the stuff that we put out onto our friends and our partners, just like our own shit.
Oh, I know, 100%. And I'm like, but like in my head, like 26.2 miles at the time, that is, you might as well be Superman or Super Lady or, you know, most badass person in the world. So she is training for this race. Whole time I'm just a degenerate piece of shit, like golfing every day. And she comes back and she runs the race, that marathon Sunday in New York. It's actually the day after my birthday. And
she runs the New York Marathon?
Yeah, this is 2022.
Whoa, so it's like a full major?
Oh yeah, she got into the lottery.
Dude, that's
first attempt.
Dude, that is so hard. There's like what, 700,000 people
it's
that
something,
try and get into the New York.
I don't think running was as popular, so maybe only like 600.
Only 600,000, dude.
But so she runs the marathon, and the day before was my birthday, and I was even an asshole to that. I'm like, why aren't we like celebrating my birthday? Like, she's like, I got to go to bed at 6. I got to be up at 4. I'm like, yeah, but like, let's just go to the bar like for a little bit. Like, it's the last game of the World Series tonight, and like. So I feel we've obviously hashed that out, but it's like, yeah. So then she goes and runs the marathon next day, and it's not necessarily her. Like, yes, her running the marathon was like the most incredible thing ever. I was so excited for her, but she's a gorgeous 6 foot tall blonde girl who has a 6-pack and ran a sub-4 first marathon.
She ran a sub-4 of her first marathon.
So she's got like all this going for her. So like I can't really, you know, relate. You know, she is in amazing shape. But what I could relate to are the people behind her. So when we're watching, I see other dudes that are big like me and people who just look normal. And I was like, holy shit, normal people can do this. Like the marathon, you know, is made for everyone. You just got to kind of put your mind to it. And so walking through kind of New York that day, I started crying like many times. I was just like, it's
pretty emotional, the majors, hey?
It is powerful.
And seeing the other people running it and the different types of people running it, really inspiring, dude.
So we get up to mile 24, which is like the final place we're going to cheer for her. She passes by, but I'm like, I like grab my buddy, my best friend in the world. I'm like, dude, I'm running this race next year. And he looks at me, he's like, shut the fuck up. You know, like, no, you're not. Like, you haven't run. Like, I was never a runner. I was never a good runner.
How big were you then? How much?
I was like 310. Or, I don't know what that is in, do you do kilos?
Yeah, like 150 kilos? 130 kilos, maybe?
Sure, yeah, 130 sounds right. Huge. Like, I was blown up. And so I got my running shoes the next day, and I made it like 1.3 miles in like 32 minutes. I would just do the thing where like you kind of run for like 10 seconds and then you're like, oh, catch my breath, you know, run for like another 20 seconds, catch my breath, and then just start walking, and then, you know, just kind of this on and off run walk thing. And yeah, then from there, just promised myself every day I'd go outside and do something, you know, like whether it's walking, whether it's running, whatever it takes to like kind of get going in the right direction. Because running for even 30 minutes at a time wasn't even close to an option.
Sure. What do you think was about the New York Marathon that propelled you? Because I'm sure you probably like saw your partner training. I'm sure you probably saw other people training for marathons. But what was it about that day that you're like, I'm going to run this next year?
Yeah. it wasn't the training that got me stoked on it, because that was terrifying. I mean, when you watch someone go for like a 20-mile training run on a Saturday, like you're gone for 3 hours. Like, what are we doing or whatever? So that part wasn't as much of, it was like New York City, the energy that, have you run New York yet?
We're running it at the end of the
coming
year.
up?
Yeah.
It's the most electric race you'll ever run.
I'm so excited.
So the electricity around the city, along with just the love and support, like, I can't even describe how the emotions just come over you when you're at a major, or like just in New York in particular, because like people will be running by, you see them hurting so much, but like you literally just like, I love you, keep going. I've never met you, but I love you so much, and you are crushing it. And once you start kind of letting those emotions out, oh dude, it overtakes you, and you're like, I have to be a part of this. I need to now be on the other side of the barrier.
Sure.
And so, fast forward, did the race 1 year later on my birthday, 26 for 26.
Dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations, mate. Mate, tell me about the process, because I imagine that year probably wasn't an easy thing to do, from going 310 pounds, starting like running, walking for like 10 seconds at a time. Tell me that progression and what that looked like, because I imagine there's probably a time where you're like, emotions are really high after watching the New York Marathon. Might be easy after a month later, be like, nah, fuck this. Like, this isn't for me. Yeah. How did you stay consistent throughout that whole year?
So, one, I had my girlfriend. She was like, no, you made a promise, you got to keep going. And then also, it was like, I actually started falling in love with it rather quickly. So like, quickly might be a loose term. 3 months or so, it took me till I was able to like kind of piece together a 30-minute run, 30, 45-minute run. But then what they don't tell you is that running is pretty exponential. You can really jump kind of fast once you get to a certain kind of baseline. So after I was able to, run a consistent 5K or a consistent 8K, I was able to kind of fall in love with this process. So like 3-4 months after, I do my first 5-mile run. 5 miles for some reason was a goal in my head, that as soon as I attain this distance, it will be like game over.
Have you ran that before?
I hadn't run 5 miles before in my entire life, let alone like even being a college athlete, like you never run that far. I mean, you run fast a lot, but never far. And so after hitting the 5-mile goal, I was like, oh, I'm in love with this stuff. That was my first runner's high. I came home and I just bawled my eyes out, man. I just cried I was like so stoked on myself. And so now, even as a runner, anytime I'm like, I only did 5 miles today, like what the hell am I doing? I'm like, dude, remember that day where you cried for like an hour because you've never been so stoked on yourself? So hitting 5 miles was like a good goal. And then from there, it was like, I met my coach. At the same time, I'm starting to make videos about running. So and that somehow took off like right away. Like video 3 did like 100,000 views. And it's like, oh shoot, now I'm like really into this thing. And that was Boston Marathon weekend, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Full circle.
Yeah, so that, and then posting on socials and kind of having those little incremental goals got me up to, all right, we're running a marathon. And it's funny because I was looking back on my first ever training block the other day, because I'm in the middle of a training block right now that is kind of really all over the place. But I'm like, dude, I peaked at running like 32 miles a week for that first marathon. I'm like, I don't know how I got to the finish line, because now I'm like, if I don't hit 75, 80 miles before the before the end of a training block, I'm like, what are you? I'm not gonna make it.
What was the hardest part in that first training block?
Consistency, for sure. I mean, like, it's the first time in my life where I was like, on my own, in quotes. Like, I've always had a team. This is the only sport I've ever done where I am my own person. I've
fully accountable.
Fully accountable.
Yeah, dude.
So hockey, baseball, I'm showing up to the rink, I'm showing up to the field, my whole team's there. Got people who relying on me. This time I'm like, oh, this is just me. I could skip what's 3 miles on a Tuesday gonna do? Like, it's not gonna be a lot extra. So being fully accountable for myself was like, that was brand new and fresh and kind of tough. And it was like, also like, at the time, I'm like making a pretty big lifestyle change where I'm like, I'm trying to eat a little bit better. I'm trying to drink less. I'm trying to, kind of piece all these things together. And what I learned rather quickly too was like, I can't change the food thing yet. Because if I try and change the food thing and I try and change the running thing at the same time, one of them is going to go horribly wrong, if not both of them.
That's good awareness to have, like, while you're in the thick of it, though. Because I imagine you're probably on a high, like, oh, look how far I'm running. I'm doing all these things. Well, I'll just change my food as well.
Yeah. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, I still love my food, but, like, I've learned how to, like, get better with it. Yeah. But that's so funny because for the first 2 years of running, I would get these comments on my videos because they were like, you run all these miles and you run all these marathons. How are you not losing weight? And I'm like, I know how I'm not losing weight. I'm still eating. Like, it's my job. But if I don't do that, I'm not going to start running. I'm not going to keep running.
What do you mean food's your job?
No, job is a loose term. That I just love.
You like eating.
I just love eating, man. And I love eating shit. That's the other thing. It's like, so like, yeah, for the first 2 years, I just ate like shit, but it kept me fueled and it got me to the finish line. And like, I was fine with that. As long as I was still doing the thing that I was loving, which was running, I was in a happy place. So it really took like being in love with running and finding that consistency before I could like start working on the other aspects of the diet, the mental side of all of this. Like I was like running away from those things for the first 2 years, and then it's like, all right, we'll start going to therapy a little bit more. We'll start eating a little bit better, and now it's kind of like the puzzle pieces are coming together. I'm starting to see the picture, but it takes time, man. I mean, it's like if I dove in and did all those things at once, I would have been gone. You wouldn't even know who I am.
So it's kind of like running started this like compounding effect of like, okay, well, I'm going to fix other little parts of my life here.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I think it's done that for so many people. It's this beautiful thing. And like, we're kind of weird for loving this shit. Like, it's not normal to like utilize, 70, 80 mile weeks to like kind of be our meditative thing. Yeah. It's crazy.
Man, it's so interesting. I probably started running like 3-4 years ago. Like I used to play professional like rugby back in Australia. And then so when I finished up, I thought when I was playing footy, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be running after football. Like, when you're in like preseason, like when you're playing hockey, like preseason's like the hard bit. Do you guys do the same?
It's the worst.
It's the worst. It sucks. And so when we're in the thick of that, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be running anything over 5Ks when I finish up. Yeah. And then you finish up, you're like, oh, well, I'd like a little challenge. And then you start, might do like a little 10 kilometer, 14 kilometer, do your first race, and you're like, oh, what's next? And then you look back 3 years later and you're like, wow, like all these like really beautiful things that have happened, like being introduced to like some incredible people along the way. You meet these incredible like run clubs, you talk to people who have had other similar like incredible stories like yourself, and you're like, whoa, I kind of see the attraction and why people really love running. Yeah. It is like, not only is it great for our like physical health, but our mental health, dude, crazy, bro.
It changes your life. I mean, and it like kind of I was listening to this amazing speaker at this race I was at this weekend, and she was talking about how her first 50K began altering her brain chemistry. Okay. First 100K changed it. And I'm like, dude, that's me. It's like marathon changes my brain chemistry altogether. I'm like, I can do really hard shit.
That's what you mean by changing your brain chemistry? Like I can do hard shit.
I can do hard shit. And I can be in this like 1% of people who does that thing. And then I was like, but I can also keep going further. Like let's push this a little bit. So then my first 50 miler, I'm like, I mean, I'm a whole new person. I've broken out of whatever that horrible habit was. And I've just kind of reinvented myself. And so like, I think that there is a part of me that still loves to have a good time and party like I was before. Yeah. But also I am able to bring it back and just be the guy who needs to, go train and get ready for the next big race.
Sounds like you've got a good balance now.
Yeah, first time ever. It's crazy, man. I'm such a I call myself I dive a phase person is what I'll say once in a while. I'm like, I dive fully in. Golf, I had to go I became a literal golf pro because I was like, I had to like go and just be the best at it.
Yeah.
Running, I wasn't able just to get into running. I had to go fucking run a marathon. Reading, I'm not able to just get into reading. I have to like get into reading and read 34 books in the first 4 months of the year. Like, it's like I can't just do anything half-assed. So like when I'm finding the balance now, I'm picking things that are like, you know, won't overconsume my life. It's like, all right, running's the biggest one, then everything else kind of will filter. And
sounds like you've got a very addictive personality, bro.
Oh, it's horrible, man. Luckily, I'm incredibly lucky to say it hasn't, you know, manifested in like alcoholism or drugs or anything else. But yeah, no, 100% addictive personality.
How's your relationship with food now, 3 years later?
Oh, it's better. I mean, like obviously, you know, binge eating is a very tough thing, and I mean, I don't know how deep you go on the pod, but like I had an eating disorder in college too. I had a college baseball coach who was like, dude, you gotta lose weight. Like you are over. And the crazy thing is he's telling me this as I weigh like what I weigh right now.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, now I'm getting back to this point where I'm like, you know, back to baseline or whatever that was. So battling through that was always tough. And like, always kind of having this super negative outlook on my own body.
Well, like you were trying to be lighter when you were playing baseball?
Yeah, I don't even know what the purpose of it was. I think he just thought I was really out of shape. He also hated me with a burning passion. Like my college baseball coach and I hit heads. Like it was our job. So he kind of pushed me towards like trying to lose weight, trying to be skinnier, trying to be in better shape in his opinion, which led me to just stop eating. Like I would stop eating. I'd be taking like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine instead of, you know, eating food and just like sweating it out while I'm in class. And then going to the elliptical after baseball and ellipticaling for 2 hours just because like, you know, more calories out, better I'll look or whatever. And
it's an interesting conversation because like back in Australia, we've had, because typically a lot of these conversations are around promoting positive mental health and diving through a lot of the little themes that come with that. Eating disorder or like relationship with food is typically a big one we have conversations with, but a lot in the female athlete space, like the girls who are playing professional like rugby or netball or surfing's a big one. Like they're open about having these conversations because I think it is so topical in the women's space. What I don't see a lot is guys having these types of conversations where I imagine it's probably maybe not so it's probably seen more in the female space, but I imagine it probably still happens just as much in the male
100%.
space because guys, like, we either want to lean down or we would want to try and get bigger, and like performance is kind of linked to aesthetics sometimes, or some coaches can see that. It's like, so I'm keen to flesh this out if you're open to it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that, I mean, especially in the States, like there's like this kind of like idea of manliness, right? It's not manly to open up about how you feel or what's hurting you or how you're being affected by something. But when you're waking up and taking, you know, laxatives so you shit and lose weight that way all day long, and then you're not following with food and you're just like chugging water all day to keep yourself feeling full.
Yeah.
It's not fucking healthy, bro. And there's nothing cool about that. Like the fact that an adult though kind of pushes that on you is like, all right, well, this is the person in power. I got to do it.
You're young, you're impressionable.
Right.
You're probably looking to him. It's like, oh, well, he's an adult. He's probably got it figured out.
Right. So it's like, you know, you do this and you go through and you battle, and then you kind of get out of it and you realize, oh shit, that wasn't normal. But then you got to break your brain again because you're like, but this is what I'm in. This is like the lifestyle I'm in. I can't just go back to eating normal food like I was, because when I do, I eat a burger. I'm like, dude, and then I'm like, I got to go elliptical for 3 hours. I got to go, you know, do a lift or something. I wasn't really running at the time, but I just had to go do something to sweat this out and get it out of my system. That's not normal, dude. You should be allowed to, you have to allow, which is then what leads you to the flip side where I'm like, all right, you know, I'm no longer playing sports. I'm just going to eat whatever the hell I want. And, you know, you get up to 310 pounds because you're drinking yourself to sleep. Not to sleep, but like just golfing and, you know, drinking a ton. And then you're eating anything and everything, and you're not exercising or doing anything to balance that out. So I think the hard thing about kind of overcoming disordered eating is like finding that balance again, like kind of with everything else going on in life, which is why when I got into running, I was like, let me just continue to eat the food that's going to keep me satiated, because I don't want to slip back into this brain where I'm like, I have to start looking a certain way or acting a certain way.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think were the best things that helped you with your relationship with food? Was it the running?
No, I don't think it was the running. I think it was just kind of like putting it. I think I put it off for many years where I was like, I can eat again. Yeah. And I just like let myself eat again. And I think I used it as kind of like a comfort. Whereas now that the relationship is good, it's because I'm like, oh, dude. So yes, running, but it's like more like I can just do shit. Like I can do badass things. Yeah. And that I couldn't do badass things without eating. And especially I couldn't do badass things without eating like the proper foods. Yeah. So, you know, I think that's where it comes back to.
And so when you were back in the thick of it, were you trying to get leaner for performance? Is that kind of how, like, why you were doing it?
No, I think it was just because I was being told to. I never wanted to lose weight. Like I felt healthy in the body I was in. In fact, like all of my injuries and bad things started to pop up when I started trying to lose weight. So it's like, dude, maybe, dude, I'm just supposed to be like a 220-pound dude, you know, because like I had 2 torn labrums in that amount of time. I had like my velocity on my fastball went way down. Yeah. Like everything just got worse. Yeah. And also my happiness got way worse. So I was like, maybe.
Well, I'm sure you're probably like so knowledgeable about it now, like how important fueling is for running. Yeah. And so you look back where it's like, well, if I'm restricting my fueling, of course, like I'm more prone to injuries and more prone
of course, everything started sucking.
Yeah, but of course, like makes so much sense now that we're older and we kind of get it. But back then, when you're so young and impressionable, it's like, well, I fucking don't know. Like I didn't know that was linked at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, it's so funny too, because I look back and now as like a runner and like we take our gels and shit. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I should have been like taking gels in between innings, like while I pitched. Like, how was I just out there just drinking water?
Yeah, you know, like give me some hydration here. Dude.
Yeah, I really should have been using anything else on top of that.
Man, it's so interesting. I reckon I was the opposite to you. I reckon I was a smaller build, but playing rugby, I needed to be bigger. Yeah. Like I needed to be bigger. And I would always have like my old boy, my dad, sorry, Australian terminology, sorry, dude. I had my dad always being like, oh, you're looking so skinny, like you need to do that. And I think he was doing it as a way to like try and help me probably be a better football player. But in my head, I was just like, oh, okay, well, I have to eat every 2 hours. I had a coach that said, I want you to wake up in the middle of the night and have a protein shake. Yep. And I'm like, oh, okay. So as like a 15, 16-year-old, I'm like, okay, waking up at like 12, having like protein shakes and eating carbs and trying to be as big as I can be. And I look back and I was like, I look like just swollen and inflamed, you know?
No, literally. But we had guys on the team doing that too. Peanut butter and jelly and protein shake at 4 a.m. every day.
Crazy, dude.
And I'm like, why are you guys like, I mean, how much is that actually helping?
I wonder that. Yeah, I wonder that because I probably sat comfortably at like 95 kilos when I was younger, but they said you're not going to play until you're over 100, 103 kilos.
No kidding.
And so in the preseason block, you know preseason, it's like you're running so much.
You can't keep that up.
How do you keep that up? Especially for a small build. And we had a lot of like Polynesian guys who would probably be the opposite end where they're trying to lose weight. I'm like, fuck, I'm eating as much as I can. How do I keep this weight on? And then you're getting like a bit older and you're like holding a lot more muscle. But I remember looking back at that time, I was like, that's so gnarly to just like force feeding. Crazy, dude.
Either way, I mean, anytime you're trying to like manipulate your body for your sport, it's like so brutal. And like, obviously, there's healthy ways to do it. Like, you can build up muscle mass and like get healthy that way, but like doing it over the course of a preseason or like a few months, it's not gonna work, man.
And like I look at like your journey now, and the big thing that I'm starting to take away and probably learn over my journey is like the consistency aspect of it. Like you don't need to do it straight away. You don't need to lose the weight, or you don't need to put on the weight in the first like couple months. Like look at this as like zoom out and looking at it over like a 5-10 year thing. It's like, well, where do I want to be? And start doing like the good habits and the good things over a long period of time. And I think you'll be surprised on how well you can go.
Oh, dude, that's such a big part of it. Because it's like, running is the first thing I've ever been like patient with.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, I don't know if it was the same for you. Like you play in high school and then you kind of get recruited to, so it's like, that feels like a sprint. You're like, I have 4 years to prove to the next level that I am the best at what I do in this group of people. And you're like, you don't have any more time after that. There's no, like you have to prove it. Running, I'm like, a 65-year-old the other day blew my doors off. I got plenty of time to figure this thing out. So when I think about it, it's like when I first started getting into running, it was like my goal was 1 year get to New York City. But then I found this other documentary about this Cocodona 250-mile race. I was like, oh, that's the goal. And I was like, that's a decade away. So we have a decade now to kind of build towards that.
So that's your goal now?
That's like one of my big goals is Cocodona 250.
Yeah, dude. It came up on my Instagram the other day.
Yeah.
That whole trail running space is like, that's where we want to see it.
I will say that goal might have been delayed by about a year based on how beat up I am after this race this last weekend, because it's that course.
What'd you do last weekend?
I did 50K in Arizona on a similar course to that race.
Sure.
And I was just like, yeah, you know, you don't find mountains like this in Boston. So, you know, maybe we take a couple extra years there, which is fine. Like even this year. So I really wanted to get my first 100-mile race done this year. And then I was at mile like 44 of a fall ultramarathon JFK 50 I was running. And I was like, you know what? Maybe the 100-mile waits another year and we just get the 100K done this year. Because those races are, you only know how they're going to feel when you're actually in them.
Yeah.
And I've proven myself I can go for, you know, upwards of 18 hours now, but it's like, how does that translate to those other distances and, you know, how we're going? So, and you're not going to run 45, 50 miles in a training block too frequently. So you kind of have to use the previous race as the litmus test to kind of preparing for that next one. So I think 100K by the end of this year, and then, you know, we pushed 100-mile back to 2027.
That seems really sensible, because I think people in our space, they can get so caught up in chasing the next race.
Yeah, oh, 100%.
Like
I did it.
Yeah, really?
My first year, I ran 9 marathons.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
What? Wait, from New York?
From New York.
And then you ran 9 marathons after that?
Yeah.
In 1 year?
Like a year and 3 months, yeah.
Why?
Well, I'll be so honest. I got caught up in the influencer thing a little bit. Like I got invited to London, Berlin, Chicago, and was like, all right, yeah, I mean, I can't not do those races.
Yeah.
And then it was like Grandma's Marathon, my first ultra marathon. Yeah. And it was like, okay, whoa, we need to pump the brakes a little bit. But I also fell in love with running the 26.2 mile distance.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because like, there's something about being out there for, at the time I was doing 5-hour marathons, like 5 hour 15. And there's something about just like going that far that just felt so badass.
Yeah.
And so like I got caught up into it, but getting those invites to all those races, I was like, I can't say no. Like,
how was your body after doing 9 marathons?
Actually, so fine.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the training blocks were ugly.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing sexy about, like the Strava chart was like one of these numbers. It was just going up and down. But you know, like after that, I was like, okay, 2025, we're gonna pull back from running so many races. Let's focus on training. And last year was the first year I really built. Like I was like, all right, we're gonna do full builds for every race we run this year, and it accumulates with like, you know, almost hour marathon PR, 50-mile PR, 50K.
You did an hour PR off your marathon?
Yeah.
Dude.
So
like, what, you ran like a 4? Like a 4 hour?
Yeah, it was like a 4:13.
Dude, that is so impressive. So you find that you're running better now with not doing so many races, but being more intentional with your training block?
Call me crazy, but yeah.
Dude, it's whoa, dude, there must be something in that.
It's insane the way that if you pull back a little bit from running races and actually take the training block seriously, it will work wonders.
Man, maybe these coaches have like some knowledge that we don't know about, bro.
My coach I'm so thankful for how patient he is with me, because I mean, he can either view me as the easiest runner he works with or the absolute most pain in the ass runner ever, because I sometimes just throw races at him and I'm like, oh, by the way, we got a 50K in a few weeks. And then other times I'm like, then sometimes I just go radio silent for like 3 weeks. Like I have my plan, I know what I need to get done, and I'm not good at communicating.
It's that's really cool. Like, I'm interested to talk about because we've got a project to run all the majors this year.
Yeah.
So we had Tokyo maybe like a month ago. Then we're Boston. Boston's the one ticket we don't have this year. So we're going to run it.
You're going to do backwards?
We're going to do it backwards with the crew.
Yeah.
Night before or morning of, and then we've got London in about 6 days time, 7 days time. But that's probably the most amount of long distance races that I've done in a year. And for me, 7 marathons in a year sounds gnarly. So I'm like, oh, I wonder how the body's going to pull up. I wonder, like, all those thoughts start coming to your head.
You're not like racing them all though. You're.
Nah, so Boston, we'll take it slow. We'll just cruise. And then London, we'll see how we go. And then back end of the year, it goes Sydney, and then 3 weeks later, Berlin. So I'm going to try and race Berlin.
That's a good race for it.
Flat course and try and do it.
Even London though, I think London, if you're feeling fit that day and you get a good weather day, you can send it.
Really?
There's a couple hills on the course. Okay. It's nothing crazy though.
Yeah,
I mean, Boston's going to be much worse.
I'm just worried about like a 6-7 day turnaround.
Yeah,
and how the legs are going to be feeling after.
Yeah, I think you'll surprise yourself, man. Okay. I think you're gonna like it. I mean, I've done a quick turnaround, so like training for my 50 miler in the fall.
Yeah.
I ran my marathon PR and then did a 50K the weekend after, and I think you'll kind of find that you're actually gonna still have some of that fitness that's ready to go.
Wait, so you ran your PR a week before doing a 50K?
The 50K training race.
Dude.
And then the 50-mile race was like 3 weeks after that.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, was it the smartest plan? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, I think that running, if I just run a regular 26.2, not regular, it's never regular to run 26.2, but like run like not the hardest I could for the race as a PR, but just kind of kept it chill, you know. That might have been healthier in terms of getting ready for that race, but I wanted that PR really badly, dude. I wanted to break 4. I was on pace to break 4 until like mile 22, and then, dude, it was like 90 degrees out. I was like, oh, we're not. Yeah. We gotta take a walking break and kind of chill for a moment because this is brutal out here.
How do you go when you're in the thick of a race, whether it's like a trail race or a marathon, and like those negative thoughts start coming, you know, when like you hit like maybe kilometer 30, 32 and those negative thoughts start coming in. How do you navigate them?
I think it depends on the race, right? If it's a trail race and I know there's a lot of time left, it's like you kind of have to sit in it for a little while. Okay. You have to be like, this really sucks right now. And we knew it was gonna suck. Like, I think that's so much of the trail scene, especially in ultras, has been made to look so sexy online, dude. It's like, yeah, sure, this 4-minute video of someone running a 100-miler looks really great because it's only 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, what about the other 23 hours that the person was out there? So like, it looks really sexy, which is why when you jump into the ultra scene, you forget sometimes when you get to race day that we signed up for days that are going to suck. Like, there's going to be hours that are not fun. Yeah. And so you have to kind of live with it for a little bit, because like you if you didn't, you'd be like kind of just constantly pushing it away. Yeah. Rather than just kind of accepting it. So I think I like to do that. And then if I really want to just bounce out of it, I toss on some tunes. Yeah. And then think about the next aid station food that I'm gonna eat. Because food what food will do for you in a long ultra marathon, because most of the time, no matter what you eat will not be enough to keep up with where you're at. Yeah. So it's like, over the weekend of my race, I burnt 7,500 calories. I only probably was able to eat 3,000 max, and that's like stuffing gels and carb drink and aid station food down my throat all day long. So it's like, no matter what I did, I was not keeping up to that number. So thinking about like a warm quesadilla or something like that.
Oh dude, let's go.
That'll just bring you right back out of it. And you're like, oh, I got 1.2 miles to that spot. All right, we can do that. You know, max it's 20 minutes away. And then you get there, you eat some food, and you're back in high spirits. Yeah. And it's so crazy how fast you can just flip out of it. You know, next thing you know, you're back on top of the world. You're cruising, you're running, you're climbing, you're doing whatever. And, you know, the brain's funny like that, man. It's like, you know, you can truly have the highest highs and the highest lows, and just trying to keep it as even as possible is the, you know, most important part of it.
I think it's a good awareness to have when you go into a race like this, is to almost have the awareness that you're going to go through some really shitty times and that it's going to be okay and that you actually will come out of it. I remember my first 50K trail race, I was in this spot where I had never been. I had never been in like a hurt locker like this outside of playing footy. Like when I was playing rugby, you'd have injuries and you would play through them. And you'd probably have times where you didn't think you could play through them, but then you would just have to do it. And so fast forward like maybe 2 or 3 years out of it, and you're doing this ultra marathon, and you're like, my legs are so sore, I don't know how I'm going to keep going. And then you do keep going and you get past it. Dude, the confidence that you get out of that is like, well, what else could I be doing? Like outside in like the real world. Like, you know, when you get in those times like where everything just becomes so absorbing, like, you know, stressed, and you don't know how you can get out of this little dark hole that you're in. I think there's some that sort of parallel there where it's like, no, you can actually get through this. I think it's so cool, dude.
Do you ever find that because you were an athlete, especially when, like, I played football for American football for a couple of years, where like, yeah, you're used to getting hit, you're used to getting bruised up, you're used to getting beat up, that you like forget that like running, like, it's not normal to sometimes feel those things. Like you run through them. Like, do you feel like you have a higher pain tolerance, which could like cause like an issue at any point when you're running?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think I've gotten a lot softer in my older age. Yeah, I think when I was younger, I thought I was like just fully invincible and you just run through it. But I think the best thing about playing sport, or you probably know, like you're so aware of your body. Like your awareness of like, I feel like I kind of know if a niggle is just something that you can work through versus, no, you've actually like done some damage here.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a good awareness where I'm like, oh, this is actually more than just like a little niggle. I feel like this might be like a strain or a little tear or something like that. I feel like I've got that good awareness now. But no, at the moment, like especially as I get older, like I'm 29 now, I'm like probably turned into a bit of a softie.
No, 100%. I mean, we were talking about it. I ran into one of my old baseball buddies the other day, and I was like, dude, remember how I used to pop like 8 ibuprofen and try and go play? Like now with the science that's like, yeah, if you take ibuprofen before exercise, there's a much higher chance of you getting like rhabdo. I'm like, dude, how did I survive?
Mate, I remember back when we were playing younger, I would be like anti-inflams almost every single week. Like if we would play on a Friday night, I would be like popping anti-inflams like probably pre-game, night of the game, couple days afterwards. And I know that it wasn't good for your gut, so I'd have 3 days, 4 days off doing that. And I did that for like months on end just to be able to play the game on the weekend. Because I got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to be able to operate, and I don't recommend that for anyone.
No, don't recommend
that because and now even now I'm like, when I'm in a block, I was just like, oh, I still don't want to lean into that stuff at all, like, because I've seen the damage that it can do with like your gut and mates that have come out of surgeries and they get stuck on it, dude. It's so scary, man.
It's terrifying. I mean, yeah, I've had 4 shoulder surgeries now, and you know, going back to like that kind of addictive personality, it's like, you know, I've always avoided the super strong painkillers because it's like, dude, I know that if I like take one too many of these, it's game over. And I didn't know it. Like, first couple of surgeries, I took it just to get rid of the pain. Didn't think anything of it. By the time the 4th surgery came around, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I understand why people get addicted to this. Because, like, it kind of just takes everything and just pushes it to the side. You're just, you know.
Well, that's kind of how Max Jalofi got hooked on, like how he started his like downward spiral.
Oh, is that what his thing was?
Yeah, I listened to a podcast he did with Rich Roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know Max.
Yeah.
He did this really great podcast with Rich Roll, and he said how he started on like drugs, and he's like, because he's naturally like an addictive personality regardless, and his parents are both like alcoholics and have been in that space, but I think he like hurt his knee or he got injured. He had a surgery, and then they just gave him a script for like this, I think like opiates or like just something to help him, and he got stuck on it, and then that was started like his downward kind of spiral with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. But you can see how easy it is, especially for athletes as well, who probably are more inclined to potentially have an addictive personality or have like similar traits around like ADHD and get really stuck on certain things, when you get injured and you can't do what you want to do and you're like, oh, well, this is a way to get back to where I want to be. You can see how people get stuck on it, dude.
100%, especially like when it's like so easy for them just to prescribe you more shit too.
Right.
Like that's all they care about.
Yeah.
Like I do think that is like very scary. And like you're right. I mean, I think so many athletes do have that addictive personality. You kind of have to. Like you have to really freaking love this shit to keep doing it, or just at least have like, you know, I've heard people say like replacing one addiction with another. I don't know. Like I don't personally have that is like a problem, but like, yeah, I mean, I can see why. Like if you were taking up most of your day with drinking, for example, now you're just taking up most of your day with going and hitting the road. You know, and if, you know, that's what's, you know, ringing that little lofty bell in your head, then I'm glad you got into a healthier habit.
I subscribe to that 100%. Yeah. And then you look at all, like, well, like, look at your story, dude. You look at all the positives that come off the back of that with like your relationship with food. You know, you're saying like doing more like in the therapy space, and like I imagine all the good things that come from that. Of course, you'd probably lean into the latter and have like the good option for sure.
Yeah, let's just choose the good option from the jump, right?
Like,
why didn't we do that?
Why do we have to make it so complicated, dude?
It's insane, you know. No, I do think that you really have to see some shit, or like go through some shit to kind of appreciate, especially the stuff that we do now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any of these races would be nearly as rewarding if this running thing was easier. Like, if it didn't take, you know, hours upon hours of running and walking a week to just become the most average at this sport as you can be, it's like, it's humbling, but also like that's the reward. I mean, that's all we're trying to strive for.
Yeah. If you were to look back, or if you were to give advice to someone who was in a similar position to you, that might be, you know, a little bit bigger body, they might have a like poor relationship with food or drinking or whatever, and they wanted to start taking the first steps to becoming a runner or just improving their whole life overall, what would be the best bit of advice that you could give, or even to your 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old self?
Yeah, I mean, to myself, I'd be like, dude, what up? We're running now, so that'll surprise the shit out of you. No, I would say it really is one of those things that you have to approach it with patience, and approach running with patience, and don't even start by running. Just go start walking every single day. Give yourself the timer, 45 minutes, I'm going to go for a walk. And approach this situation like it is a long-term plan. You know, you're not going to run a marathon tomorrow. So, you know, why try to do that? You can go for a walk and try and fix that relationship with your physical fitness first. And then everything else, you know, when the time is right, you will know it's right. For me, it's like I finished up Chicago Marathon, and I was like, all right, I figured out this running thing. I ran my PR that day at the time, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to do the next thing, which is like, I'm tired of feeling bloated. I'm tired of feeling like shit every morning. So like, let me stop eating McDonald's and Taco Bell every night. And your body will let you know when it's ready for those things. You know, you're going to probably feel, you know, some kind of physical symptom.
I was going to say, whatever. What's the feeling? Like, how do you know?
I think that for me, it was just like, you know, I'm running all these miles. Why do I still feel like shit? So it was like, all right, let me adjust, you know, this minor thing in my life, which was food. And so also what's funny with it is like, you'll realize rather quickly that you're starting to feel better. And then also you'll feel it in your physical fitness. So it's like, while I was like fixing my diet a little bit, I stopped eating as many carbs during the week. Like, just because I was eating like a box of pasta for lunch every single day. Like, that's not healthy. That's not really recommended. Yes, carbs are important for running, but box of pasta for lunch every day, not necessary. But what I would do is, you know, start eating my carbs, or like I would go back to eating a box of pasta, but like only once a week on Fridays before my long run. It's crazy how much carbs actually like help when you're eating like a normal amount. You're like, oh shit, I actually feel the effects of the carbs rather than just stuffing my face with them all week. I like actually, you know, kind of put them in a place where it could be effective for my long run, and it worked. That's crazy, man. That's insane how that works. So yeah, I mean, I think that at the end of the day, I think advice is important, I think I can only give so much of it because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all on our own journey. And like, I'm not here to ever tell someone what they should do with their life, man. I mean, it's so personal, this running thing, and then also just like health in general, because we're all wired different. You know, we might have some similarities that we can relate to, which is why we get inspiration from others. But at the end of the day, like, our stories are all so unique that it's like, you know, if I told you this is exactly how you're going to get from point A to point B, I'd be a fucking liar.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think the biggest part and why I think these conversations are so good is because they can inspire. You know, you might have someone sitting on the couch and they just needed that like little glimpse in what their life could look like. Yeah. Have you seen Jelly Rolls?
Oh yeah, the dude's
experience.
Lost so much weight.
He's almost like 200 pounds or something like that. 100 pounds or something. And he was at a place where he couldn't even get off the couch, dude. Like he couldn't even walk. Like without like puffing and his heart rate spiking. Like his testosterone was super low, and now he's on this journey where I think he ran like a 10K the other day with like Cam Haynes and some crew. I'm like, dude, that story is inspiring. Like when I hear those stories, I'm like, that's kind of like what lights me up, and we're like, okay, well, this is just a beautiful story and a beautiful journey to be on, dude. Yeah,
dude. I mean, anytime that like you see someone do something that's just like, I watch them change their life, you're just like, now I gotta go for my run today. That inspired me to get out the door today. And it is interesting the way that we as like humans crave that. You know, I would love to read up more on like kind of how we crave watching other people succeed and then utilizing it for our own kind of, you know, motivation or whatever we're calling it to get out the door. I think that's a unique kind of way to approach like fitness in general, but just like life overall is like, you know, how are we using other people to stay motivated? It's interesting.
That's what I think. I love people who really document their journeys on socials, like, because I pull a heap of inspiration. Like before coming over here, I had my last long run before going out, and it was like, I had like a 30K to do, and I was just I was putting it off. I missed the alarm in the morning, so I had to do it at like midday or the afternoon, so it was hot. But then I was on my phone, and I think I saw you had just finished your 50K, or you're about to run your 50K. I had a friend that ran in the Go One More Ultra, and she came 10th, and she's not an ultra runner. Her name Maddie O'Brien. She did like 117K, which is gnarly. And then another friend did a 200 mile, his first 200 mile. And so I was like, I am surrounded by the most like incredible people that are just like on their own journey, doing their own incredible thing. And dude, it gave me so much inspiration. And I didn't go out on my long run faster than usual, but I enjoyed my long run so much more because I was just like, oh, I'm on my own journey here, dude. Like, I want to get, like, similar to you, I would love to get to like doing a multi-day ultra, but that's down the track. And for now, like 7 marathons this year is my level, my capacity. It's like, dude, this is my journey. It was so cool. So I think like people who are documenting their journey, I'm very pro that. I think it's really cool that people do that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day too, like, I think that the dopest thing, I think at times it's a lot to share it with real life. It's scary, man.
Yeah.
It's putting your journey out there, especially when you're in the beginning of it. It's terrifying.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Did you find that?
Yeah. When being vulnerable to people in general, even just in like a one-on-one setting with someone, it's terrifying as a human. Yeah. But to really put it out on the internet, it's insane. But there is like a beauty in just documenting in general. So like I wish more people would just, you know, it might look silly, but like talk to your camera during a race so that you yourself can go and like I have videos from the 50K this weekend. Yeah. Never gonna see the light of day on social media. Like there's one of me like crying when I saw a rainbow. Whoa. And I'm like, I just want this for my own personal, like I want to be able to come back and remember this moment. I wish people would do that, man. So you could like go back and like watch yourself in the thick of it, you know, being really deep in the pain cave and just remembering those moments. Maybe you don't post it on social media because, you know, I don't think everyone should do that either. I do think that like it takes a certain amount of like, you have to know what you're getting yourself into on social media, but just have it for yourself, you know, because as soon as it goes on the internet, you know, next thing you know, you got user 1478 calling you a fat fuck.
Yeah.
Like, why are you only running a 50K, pussy? It's like,
People say that to you?
Yeah, people comment crazy shit all the time,
Really?
dude. Yeah, bro.
How does that sit with you?
I mean, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It used to affect me. It used to be like, it would like ruin my day, like back in the day. And I find, what's interesting too about social media is that I find that men who hate on other men in particular like to do it in private, like in the DMs rather than in the comments. So like I have a lot of friends that are girls or women in the space who will get hate in their comment section. My comment section's usually pretty clean, but like if I post a story or some shit, like people like reply to my shit and are like pretty mean sometimes. And I'm like, that's, why are you doing it here?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it in public,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really look at my DMs for that. I'm like, why would I want to go in and see this shit, know? So it used to affect me a lot more than it does now. Now it's like, I think it's building up that confidence. Cause like at the time, like I was like, if this is like 2 years ago and I'm getting a comment like that, yeah, I'm still feeling rather insecure about running, about eating, about getting all these races done, about my pace. I think that being yourself and being authentic can be hard because sometimes someone calls out something that you are already insecure about.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I fucking know my chin looks fat today.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to fucking tell me. So, when they hit the kind of thing, the nerve that could actually bother you, that's when it kind of stings a little bit. But like, at the end of the day, that's what you kind of sign up for when you get on social media. You are putting yourself out into the public, out into the public eye, and you can anticipate that stuff. But at the end of the day, too, that's 3 comments a week compared to the 174 that are like, dude, inspiring. Yeah. Appreciate you posting this.
And I wonder if it's just the awareness over with time to know that it's probably just their own shit that they're probably putting 100%. On you,
yeah, it's always someone else's shit. That's the crazy part. It's like someone else probably just couldn't get off the couch today and was pissed off for some reason. There's like this one comment that will bug me for the rest of my life. One person called me a bully on the internet, and I don't know what I did to ever get called a bully. Yeah. But I think about it all the time. Like, very unfortunately, this person I don't even know who it is. They live rent free in my head because I'm like, I've never tried to be anything but like nice to people.
Yeah.
So to get called a bully, that one hurt. That hurt worse than ever being called fat.
That's so, because with the short time that I've known you, and that's probably the last thing that I would have put in your circle.
Here's my thinking. I think they probably saw something I posted on Threads because I roast people over there on occasion.
Oh, yeah.
And I probably roasted them about some stupid shit that they said. And then they were like, oh, Herm's a bully. And I'm like, you know what? If that's the case, I can live with it. I just wish I kind of knew the origin of, or like, did you meet me on the street and I was accidentally like slightly an asshole to you because like I was like in a rush somewhere, I want to know the origin of it because I think that's the opposite of any message I ever want to give anyone. And like, so I do think about that one.
That's so interesting, dude.
Yeah.
Mate, before we finish up, I think that I'd really love to know how your relationships with your partner, with your friends, with your family has changed since you've started this running journey, because you mentioned, before your partner did her first marathon, that, you could be kind of an asshole and you didn't know. How's your relationships changed?
Oh, I mean, I think my relationship with my partner is better than it's ever been. We're in a very healthy, good spot. We're both like, exercising. We're both working. We're both doing our thing. We have our dog. It's great. And then my family, they're family, man. I'm such a family guy. So it's like, I go back home and I see them as frequently as possible. I literally was with them yesterday. And I like to think that I'm inspiring them. They're not like exercise first people. So it's, it's not going to be like I motivated them to run marathons or anything like that. But I like to think that, maybe they've made some lifestyle changes over the last couple of years. But the dopest thing about it, and this is also tying back to the social media, because of all like posting myself, I've had the opportunity to travel with the running thing. And because of that, for the first time in my life, I've been able to take them places. Like it was always my parents taking me places, you know, to see things, do things, to go to events. Now I'm like, oh, I'm running a race in London. Mom, come with me. We're going to do 2 weeks over in Europe. We're going to run the race, and then we're going to go up to Newcastle. Then we're going to go up to, you know, Edinburgh. And then we're going to go over to Scotland or Ireland. And then we're going to come back to London. And we're going to do this 2 weeks. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. We're going to make it happen. The brand's going to pay for it.
Sick,
and
dude.
so it's like, first time ever, I can do that. Yeah. I can hook my parents up, which that is the raddest thing ever.
Yeah, dude.
You know, and like, they don't tell you this as a kid because, like, you know, they're your parents. They have to, like, lay into you when you get bad grades or, like, actually discipline you. But, like, becoming an adult with your parents is so cool.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, dude, these people are so rad.
Yeah.
Like, I want to just hang with them.
Yeah.
I can't believe I was embarrassed by these people at the mall when I was like 13 years old. They're so cool.
Yeah, that must be pretty special, the fact that you can take them on a trip, dude.
Yeah, so that's like the greatest benefit to ever come from this whole thing. It's just like the experiences that kind of get tied into everything. Now is just revolves around a race, which probably isn't completely healthy. I was saying the other day, like, I need to go on a real vacation, right? Like, just like go lay on a beach or something, but like all my vacations right now are like, let's go run a 50K.
But dude, I kind of like the idea of like traveling for a race, like getting there, doing the race, and then you kind of feel like you have earned the fact of being able to sit on a beach and drink wine all day. Dude.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the nice part of it all.
That is. So my buddy and I, we ran this race over the weekend. Every spring we run a race together. Last year was a 50 miler, this year was a 50K, the year before it was a marathon. We were like, next year we're doing a 5K on a tropical island.
Let's go to Hawaii, maybe a little 5K on Hawaii.
A little 5K, and then we'll just, you know, surf and lay on the beach.
That's so awesome. My partner was supposed to come with us for all these marathons this year, but we found out she's pregnant. We've got a little bubble.
Congratulations.
Thank you, dude. We're very excited, but that also means that she doesn't get to come travel. But once the baby comes in September, we really want her to be able to come for New York at the end of the year. So imagine like my partner, I think my mum's going to come over as well just to try and help, and then have like our newborn bub like on New York.
Oh, that's going to be so happy.
And so imagine like having like family around doing like the last race of the year. I was like, I feel like that'd be so cool, dude.
Oh, that is the last one, isn't it?
Be the last one.
Oh, that is the perfect ending.
Yeah.
I'll be out there. I think if all goes to plan, my best friend, the guy that I told I was going to run New York City to on the first day.
Yeah.
He's going to run his first marathon that day, and we're going to do it together.
Dude, let's go. Let's try and link in New York.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be
absolutely.
Sick. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You're going to have to bring the kid out. We'll get him on the pod.
Yeah. the little girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's so rad.
Dude, before we wrap it up, mate, what do you think is the biggest thing that we didn't talk about today in terms of your running journey? Anything you think that we forgot, or things that you think we'd like to highlight that we didn't touch on today?
No.
I feel like
we covered a lot about the running journey, man. I mean, maybe outside of running. What do you do
outside of running?
I don't know. I don't do anything. I just run. I sleep. I read books. No, man. I think we covered it all. The nice thing about having kind of a shorter running journey is that you can cover it all in kind of one sitting.
Yeah.
Other than telling you some race stories.
Yeah. What are you reading at the minute? What's your genre?
I actually just finished Scott Jurick's book last night. It was his book about running, ultras. Sure. And then I'm all over the place. I'm also reading about what is it? Disaster capitalism. Okay. So it really is like one high to the next. It's like I listen to fiction. So I'm listening to this Dungeon Crawler Carl series right now while I run, and then when I'm reading a physical book, it has to be nonfiction, and I love a good memoir. Yeah. I just finished up this lady, Patti Smith's memoir, Just Kids. That was fantastic.
What's that about?
So Patti Smith was kind of in the punk scene in New York City back in the 70s, and she had a great friend, photographer Robert, who just kind of their kind of journey of surviving New York City in the 70s as two broke artists.
Man.
And that was fantastic. I mean, it really made me just want to throw my phone in the Charles River and just get a group of friends who do the same, and we all just kind of like meet at the coffee shop, and like that's how we see each other. Like there's no like texting like, hey, I'm gonna be there in 15 minutes. Like you just show up. And,
You're
like,
always gonna be
if
there.
people are there, you know, sick. You have a hang. And if nobody's there, you also just hang. And I think that there's like so much overconsumption that we do now, and like I personally feel like anxiety. Like if I'm showing up here and I'm like, oh geez, like you know, are they gonna be downstairs waiting for me or some shit? And I'm like, dude, we need to just get back to the point in life where we just run into people.
Yeah, dude.
We don't pre-plan every interaction that we have.
I think that's the most beautiful thing. My dad, he's got like this group of mates that he goes to a coffee shop on the beach like every single morning. They're there from like 5 till 7. And so if I don't know where my dad is, I'll just go there in the morning and he's always going to be there.
Yep.
But he's got a crew of like maybe 10, 15, sometimes 20 crew who just roll in, they have a coffee on the beach, and like that's their thing. And I'm like, I can't wait for that time in my life when I can do that and be retired. But then I was like, well, why can't we do that now?
Exactly.
Is there a reason why we can't do that now? Maybe, I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, so like reading that, I was like, oh, this is just what they do. And then this weekend, we are out in the middle of the desert, Arizona, but there's one coffee shop. Or we think it's a coffee shop. It's a coffee club. You have to be joined to be a member. It's 50 cents to be a member, so they let us in. But we walk in, and it's just like 30 old hippie people, just like chatting with each other. I don't know if they hang there every day. I don't know. Man. But I'm like, oh my God, this is what I've been dreaming of.
Wow.
Like this is the move. Maybe I got to move out to the Orlo Canyon desert to like find the kind of just hang of people. So yeah, I think that was a really fun read that I finished up over the weekend too.
That's cool, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for the conversation today, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Man, I think it was really awesome getting to know your story, and like, man, I'm excited to watch your journey to Cocodona 250.
Yeah, we'll get there one day. Yeah, over the next 10 years, I hope you still follow. But yeah, man, good luck running Boston backwards in a few days. It's a fun run. You're gonna have a really good time.
Yeah.
And you get the hills kind of out of the way in the beginning.
Oh,
but because you go backwards, the last 3 miles are gonna be uphill for you, which is gonna be a little bit tough, but you'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, bro.